Hello everyone, my name's Tim. I am the Silver Coder, and in the video for today we are going to be looking at tools, or the Lazarus IDE tools, to help make our life a bit easier. And I'm just going to give a little shout to this user here, Paul, who told me about how I can basically autocomplete a variable declaration, and then a link to some other stuff. And I thought, I wish I had have known this beforehand. And it's one of those things you sort of maybe you don't look at until someone points it out to you, how life could be made easier. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? So the first one we're going to be looking at is well, we're going to remove this declaration here, and if I then put my cursor on the variable, LOK, so it's a flag. It's I know it's going to be a boolean, and if I now press the Control Shift and C, it automatically inserts a variable declaration. And if I did something like had a variable, like if we're going to have a for loop, for instance, or just even an integer, and we do that, then if I go back over here and I do it again, this particular variable gets added in as well. So it means that you can just, let's say, type your code out, within between the begin and the end, and as you need the variables, you can just use the Control Shift and C to have it automatically, create the declaration for you. Another place where the Control Shift and C can also be beneficial is if you were to have, let's say this were your code here, and imagine you've got contents in that list as well, and you want to sort the list. Well, if I do Control Shift and C here, it automatically creates the function for you, and you just need to provide the meat between the bones, or the, shall we say, to provide that comparison function. So Control Shift and C, add that one to your little, add that to your tool bag of tips and tricks to make life easier to make life easier for you. Now the next one is more to do with we're just going to delete this bit of code here. Now the next little tool which we can use is called inverse assignment. And what that does is we can take a block of code, let's say A equals B, or A1 equals B1, A2 equals B2, and it will become B1 equals A1, B2 equals A2. And to show you this in how this works on the screen, we've got imagine we've got this code here which will load settings from, say, a configuration. So we're just going to, and just imagine then we have a function, that we're going to call to save. So we can just copy those lines there, select those, right mouse click, source, and we can source, and then we select the inverse assignment, and you can see how our selected text has been, let's just say, flipped over. So and that would be useful, say, in a saving. So if you, let's say, imagine you had let's say 20 or 30 or more settings you wanted to load and save, this would save you a fair amount of typing to be done. Now the next little thing we want to look at is, I have multiple lines of code here that I want to comment out. So in this scenario here, what we can do is select the text, and this time we're going to use Control, Shift and V, and you can see here how all of those lines have now been prefixed with the double slash, which can be used, which you can use to comment out a set of lines of code. The other way you can, it's in here somewhere, refactoring, no, not there. We can also use Control, Shift and U to uncomment, or Control and slash to toggle it on and off. So if we go here, Control and the forward slash, it's off, on, off and on. So that's just the Control key and the forward slash to do that one. We'll just turn this off for the moment, and just to highlight so we can show you the next particular thing that's useful within the IDE. So this will be the fourth shortcut key, which I think is very handy, and this one is for an if-def selection. So what we could do here, we've got our lines of code, we've got them selected, and now we can, I think it's Control, Shift and D, and it brings up this dialog here. And you've got some options here, something like for if it's a different OS or Windows or everything else, free Pascal or none, etc., debug or none. And so let's just select this particular one here for the sake of the example. And what we can do there is we can now, if we select OK, then you can see here what it does is it makes a copy of the text, which we could then modify if we wanted to, and here is the version that would be used if FPC were defined. If you and if you were to use, say, the let's go select that again, and we'll go Control, Shift and D. If we, for instance, say debug and none, then basically you'll just have a basic if def ran a block of code, and now the last one I'm going to show you is to do with, I'm going to say we're going to do some editing. So if we again select some code here, and now we're going to press Control J. And if I were to change, let's say, settings to, I don't know, let's go for config. See, we're going. And now I press the escape key. Then now you can see that I've been able to change all those instances of the word settings to config in one go. And that is very handy if you are doing, let's say, you want to rename let's say some variables within a block of code. So these are 5 or only 5 things, let's say, that you can look at using to help enhance your coding experience within Lazarus. To read more about the rest of them, you can always go to wiki.freepascal.org/Lazarus_IDE_tools, and you can read about all the rest of the things which make life easier for you or for us when we write code. So have a look at that page, see what you can do, and see if there are any tools here which can help to make your experience better when it comes to coding in Lazarus. So that's about it for this video, and if you like this video,